crucial for Lacan's notion of pli de jouir, surplus enjoyment, enjoyment found in the very renunciation to enjoyment. You know, Lacan always proclaimed that anxiety is authentic, okay, but all the topic of sacrifice, there was something fake in it for Lacan. There is always a secret surplus enjoyment in renunciation itself. So I would maybe like to give you one simple example, which is in my book, if I remember it correctly. A friend of mine in Slovenia who works here in the States told me that once, towards the end of the day, he went to a Walmart store and noticed something very strange there. It was he noticed near the exit to the store many of those trolleys where you put merchandise full of commodities, merchandises, but just left standing there. And he asked the persons working there, what's going on? And they told him, this is mostly the new impoverished middle class. They were so attached to the ritual of shopping in a megastore supermarket that they go there, the whole family, they go through the entire ritual of shopping, and when it's full, that trolley, they simply leave it there, because what gives them pleasure is just the process, you know. And so it's a nice example of how what remains there is surplus enjoyment without even enjoyment. So the point is, as we all know, this is a very primitive example of shopping, that you don't just shop to get what you need. It can be almost more important, the very procedure of shopping. At least I admit this. For example, that's why I have big, as they say in California, attitude problems with Amazon.com. Because for me, I like to go when I'm here to Harvard bookstore, not co-op. It's a class struggle here. Progressive Harvard versus reactionary co-op. And you know, part of the, I'm sorry to use these stupid California terms, but part of the experience of it, it's precisely the process of it. So, and, okay, I will now condense it very much. What happens in capitalism is something unique. Although this destabilizing structure of a surplus, and let me tell you very briefly another example, and then I will stop, from my book, which is my favorite. If you ask me for the favorite pages from my book, I think it's where I talk about Thomas Aquinas. If you want to learn about perversities of enjoyment, turn to theology. They are full of it. No? He asks in one of his texts, Thomas Aquinas, will people who are in heaven, the good guys, will they be able to see also suffering in hell? And the answer is, it must be yes, because they will know much more, they will be all-knowing, so why should this be prohibited to them? Then, of course, he, Thomas Aquinas, is honest enough to raise the obvious question, but isn't there some obscenity at work here? Will it not? How can, if they are good, honest people, how can a view of others suffering terribly, how can it bring them satisfaction? And instead of admitting this perversity, Aquinas cheats here. No? His answer is, they are not really enjoying suffering in hell, they are really enjoying the greatness of divine justice, you know who, and so on. Of course, we should claim no, and here you have surplus enjoyment at its purest. Even if you have all you want, all the honey or whatever, although with sex it's more ambiguous. Do you remember, Mladen, you told me this story? Wasn't there an Italian nun about a year ago who was asked, aren't you sorry of being a nun? Like you miss sex? And she gave a wonderful answer, that when I was younger, I had sex. But isn't it that we can expect from God, imagine sex, but imagine sex multiplied, even greater pleasure, and this will be heaven, and so on, no? So obviously it doesn't work. It has the same role as that gaze in hardcore pornography. Obviously, you need the surplus of seeing others suffering to enjoy fully heaven. And something like this is capitalist economy. As they say, this is the version in capitalism, it's not only that I should win, it's that the other guy should lose, you know. And me enjoying in that. And then I imagine a scene which I really like, I'm proud of it, of imagine hell. We all know what is hell. A place where they have fire only to give good barbecues, you drink, you eat, you copulate all the time. And I imagine it like this. It's wonderful all the time, but like once a week, devil comes and said, guys, I know we have fun, but I learned from my friend God up there that now we will be displayed to people in paradise. Please pretend now that you are suffering. People say, oh, 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 oh. And then I will tell you when they close the window and we can go on and so on, you know. So now a little bit more seriously. Capitalism is something tremendous. Marx admired it. It's the first system which directly used as its basic machinery something that all previous systems experienced as a threat. The big motive of all traditional ontologists, even in sex, is, you know, the balance of masculine, feminine, how to prevent the excess, how to maintain the stability. Capitalism thrives of instability. But today, so that I don't talk too much, just a concluding comical event, I love it. Today, something strange is happening with these tensions, you know, prohibition, which gives you a surplus enjoyment and so on, a kind of a collapsing of the opposite with our permissivity, neutralizing their tension. Let me tell you the story. I have a wife who is a chain smoker, so we recently went to a hotel in Skopje where my wife presented her new book, Macedonia, south of ex-Yugoslavia. And of course, the first question of my wife was, can I smoke in the hotel room? And she got a unique answer. It's prohibited by the law, and you have ashtrays, a couple of them in the room. Then this paradox was even confirmed by, I'm so sad I didn't want to get it boring, I have it on my USB as an image. You know, the ashtrays that were there, you know, usually you have on the bottom of the ashtray, if they are made of glass, some image. The image was the prohibited to smoke sign, you know. And I find this rather sad. Okay, it looks nice, it's a supreme joke, you know, but something is lost in the traditional economy of transgression because the tension is simply cancelled. And I wonder if up to some point Donald Trump doesn't function as that ashtray, you know. I stop. Okay.